Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode number 170 for June the 7th, 2022. So let's jump right into current projects today. And this one you have seen in bits and pieces before. It's now finished. This is the In the Hoop Celtic table runner, and I did a tutorial on how to go about making one of these, and you'll find that linked in the show notes below. This was something that someone requested me to do. They wanted to see how to create an In the Hoop applique project. So I made my own video of this. This is the second one of these that I have made. They're really easy to do. They're very effective. And what I'm using them for, I'm not really using them for table runners. I'm using them for a decoration on my cupboard doors in my sewing room. They're just the right size, and you can see it's mounted on a cupboard door right now. And eventually I need to make a couple of more of those to put on a couple of the other cupboard doors as well. And I'll make them in different colors. Now, the next thing I've been working on has been the quilt from hell. Let me see if I can find it here. There it is. Yeah, another quilt from hell. I've had several of those in the last few months, haven't I? Well, this is the one that is called With Glowing Hearts, and does not look anything like the one that was in the pattern that I was trying to follow. This is Northcott's 10th anniversary O Canada collection of fabrics, and I really love the collection. I love all the fabrics in the O Canada collection that they've had over the years. This was supposed to be a sampler quilt, a bunch of blocks, different blocks, and some pieces that you fussy cut out of a panel that is part of this series. And I got this all as a kit, as you may remember. Well, I had all kinds of problems from day one with this pattern, but the biggest problem I had was with the fact that the designer of this particular pattern decided it would be really easy if she just made most of the measurements in 1/8 of an inch. I have no idea why she felt that that was the best approach. 1/8 of an inch, even though you cut the pieces a little bigger when you cut them down for half square triangles, that doesn't always work out. At least it didn't for me. I made the first 3 blocks of this, and you had to make 2 of each of them, and it was just a pain. Actually, I made 2 of the first 2 blocks, and you can see one of those blocks in the little blocks up here and here down at the bottom. That's block 2. Block 1 were complete disasters. Well, not complete disasters. I'll explain that in a moment. But anyways, when I was working on block 3, that's this block right here, minus the applique piece that's in the center. It was a pain too. Her instructions are not very clear. And this had mitered corners. And this block right up here, it had mitered corners in it. Now, I've done mitered corners before. But following her instructions for them was not that clear. So, and after I got it all together, I realized that I had not cut these triangles right. I cut 2 out of a square. I needed to cut 4. So, of course, these pieces were too big. So I decided, well, I won't scrap it completely, but it's not going to work in the quilt. So I cut a square for the center piece that was appropriate for it. And you know, at that point, something clicked in my head. Am I enjoying this project? No, I am not. Then why am I doing it? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm always determined to finish something that I've started. But you know, in this case, I really didn't want to. So I set it aside. But it was bothering me that I had set it aside. So I decided I'm just going to take the pieces I have made and I'm going to make them work, and I'm abandoning the pattern, but I'll make my own version, and that's what you see in front of you. Now, it isn't quilted and bound yet. When it is, I will show you what it looks like from there. I'm happier about the way this turned out. Am I completely happy with it? No, I'm not. But at least it's done. Now, these 2 pieces along the edges here They were from a panel from the same collection, but it was an extra one that I had bought, and I'd made a quilt using that panel before, if you remember, way back a few months ago. So I thought, I was playing around with different ways of filling in this area here. I wanted to use these pieces, and getting everything to measure up correctly was, you know, a little bit difficult. Then I got the bright idea that I would cut the panel in half and do what you see here. And by the way, this is not really white. It's the same color as over here. It's just the way, if you can see over here on this far side, sunlight was coming through my window and it kind of altered the colors of the quilt. But anyways, it is done. Now I had leftover pieces, so I thought, what the heck? And it's sideways, but you get the point. Let's make a, actually it's bothering me that this is sideways here. Just let me see if I can do something about that. And I can. I'll just flip it around. There we go. Okay. Modern technology. So I made a table runner. This piece in the center of this table runner, actually this whole piece was what I was going to use in where I've got now the panel cut in half. But I just didn't like the look of it. I appliqued these little diamonds on top of it. I fussy cut those out of some of this fabric, and again, this has to go on to Lucy to be quilted and bound, and actually I think it's okay. It'll look even better once it's quilted. You know the saying, it'll quilt out, right? And I actually had enough fabric left over, a couple of more blocks, ones that didn't fit into the quilt, and I'm making those into pillow covers. So again, I'll show you all of those things probably next week when I get them all quilted and bound and finished up. Okay, so this one is not a new project, but I thought I'd show you anyways because this is Pride Month. And this I made a year ago. It could be a table runner. I've chosen to use it as a door decoration. And it's my Pride banner. And that was a project. It wasn't that quick because I got the bright idea. I always get these bright ideas. Yeah, and then I kick myself later. I decided to make these rainbow maple leaves on my embroidery machine. They're all embroidered, but I had to embroider them and cut them out and then put them into the patchwork. And there's a lot of those little suckers in there. But the end result, I think, was worth it. I'm really happy how this turned out, and it brightens up, you know, when people walk by the house, it kind of brightens up their day, I hope, a little bit, and at the same time also shows my pride. So what's that take me to next? Well, let's get out of this and come back to me. So we had Craft and Chat this past week, and it was a little bit more subdued than usual. Everybody was really concentrating on what they were working on, I think, and so was I. I got a lot done, and I think other people got a lot done too. The usual chit chat wasn't all there, but you know, that's not a bad thing either. You know, because sometimes you just want to be able to concentrate on your project and, you know, not divide your attention between it and, you know, the conversation that's going on. So I think everybody had a good time, and if you missed it, don't worry, there's another one coming up, but that will be the first Wednesday in July, whatever that date is. I didn't look at my calendar, but I'll give you lots of warning about that beforehand. Okay, so we did go on a road trip last week. Yes, we needed to get out of the house. So we decided to go to a place north of us, about an hour north of us, called Finland Falls. Now, this is a small little community situated on Cameron Lake. I think it's actually situated where Cameron Lake connects up with another lake, Scugog Lake. These are not huge lakes. And there's a lock there because, of course, boats need to go from one lake to the other. And so the locks, you know, get them past the little waterfalls. So the name Finland Falls is appropriate. It's not a huge falls. I don't think it ever was. It's not like Niagara, okay? But anyways, we went up there, and I had looked up a quilt store, and I'll come to that in a moment. But we decided to have lunch right by the water on a patio. It was a Irish pub kind of thing called Murphy's. It was okay. Yeah, I can't say anything really bad about it. Seemed to be a very popular spot. All the locals were coming in for lunch there, it seemed to be. Possibly people in cottages as well, because this little community only has about 2,500 people in it. But it does swell in the summer months as the cottagers all come up. Even my sister goes up there because her in-laws have a cottage on that lake, so they go up there every summer several times as well. But I had never been before. So before we went, I looked up to see if there were any quilt stores, and there was one. It's called the Little Wee Quilt Shop, and I'll show you my haul. Oops, that's not the picture I want. This is the, no, that's not the picture I want. That's not the picture I want. That's the picture I want. Okay, jeez. Anyways, I'm still playing around with this new Mac and getting used to how things work. And that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so not all of these came from the one quilt store. I'll talk about the second quilt store we went to in a moment. But I did pick up some wide back fabric. That's this piece here. And I picked up two patterns that use the little twister tool. In fact, the lady in the store, when I was purchasing them, she said, "You do know these take a special tool?" And I said, "Yep, I've got it." I think she was a little wary of us when the two of us walked into the store. I don't know how many men she'd ever had in her little quilt store. It was an okay little quilt store. Not really. If you were going to Finland Falls, don't go because you just want to go to this quilt store. Okay, sorry to say that, but it didn't have the world's greatest collection of fabrics. However, they were fairly good price. Walter bought some regular fabric at $15 a meter, and my wide back was about $27, I think, a meter. And those prices are okay. They're okay. And the patterns were about, well, you can see 14 something for this one, 13 something for this one. So these are in my little project box. I may get around to it. Actually, when I saw this one first, I thought this would make great pillow slip covers for my decorative pillows in my rec room, because the ones I put on there were ones that I made very early in my quilting career, and they've done their time. But now I think I'm going to use the ones I'm making out of the Old Canada fabric collection. So this is a future project for down the road. And the bag as well. So that was our adventure to Finland Falls, but on our way home we stopped into another town a little closer to us, but still on the way to Finland Falls, called Lindsay. And there is a quilt store there called Appleseed Quilt Works. I have reviewed them before. They're online and they have a brick and mortar store, but I had never been to the brick and mortar store. So we went in, and it's a really nice store inside. It's quite large and lots of fabric at a very premium price. Their prices are on the high end. I bought this that you see right here, the blue with the lines on it. That one was $18.99 a meter. I also bought this kit for $35 because you know me and stars, and this is another table runner, and it was a bit of a whim. Sorry about the glare. I guess when I took the picture, I wasn't paying much attention to the lighting. And I bought a Dresden ruler. I don't have anything in mind for the Dresden ruler, but I did see one pattern that looked kind of interesting, but you needed a Dresden ruler, and I thought I owned one. Surprise, surprise, I own every ruler on the face of the planet, except a Dresden. Now I have a Dresden. So those were the things I bought there. So in this little piece here, because in the other store I had bought over $100 worth of stuff, yeah, wide back fabric, two patterns, okay. It came to about $111 with tax. I got to select a free fat quarter, which were basically cut off ends of the bolts. Well, I suppose essentially that's what most fat quarters are. But anyways, it was a freebie. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I picked it up. So that was our little adventure to, north of us. It was a nice day out. The weather was beautiful. Finland Falls is a quaint little place, kind of picturesque. So yeah, it was fun. Now, the pictures that I passed by here, I've been designing some things with my 3D printer. So on my cutting table, when I get a quilt on there and I want to put my borders on it, the cutting table is large, but I have to hang the bulk of the quilt over the edge as I clip on my borders, get those all straightened out. and it has a tendency, because of the weight of the quilt, to slide off the table. And I was using a hand weight, a 3-pound dumbbell kind of a thing, to hold it up there. But then I got this idea, well, you know, they have such a thing as fabric weights. Walter uses them when he's cutting out patterns for shirts and things. And I thought, well, why couldn't I do something on my 3D printer in the same way? So I did. So I found a model for creating these little jars with screw-on lids. And so I made a couple of these. And just let me go over. And I filled them with pennies. See, the penny is no longer a piece of currency in Canada. They got rid of the penny a few years ago. And of course, a lot of us have a ton of pennies. We were saving them up for a rainy day, I guess. So I thought, well, what the heck? Why don't I throw a bunch of pennies in this? This will weigh it down, screw it on the lid. And if I ever need the pennies, I know where they are and I can get at them. But these work really, really well. I made a third one, but I don't have a picture of it too. Now I got thinking later, these are kind of tall. I could make them a little more shallow, but then I couldn't get as many pennies in them, so they wouldn't maybe be as heavy. But anyways, these work dandy. I just put them on the corners of the quilt to hold it down while I'm putting on a binding, or not a binding, but putting on a border, and everything stays in place. So that's things that I made this week. Now, as I mentioned before, I did create a video showing you how I made the table runner, the Celtic table runner, the in the hoop design. And that is already posted for you, so you can check that out. So that is also my demo for this week. But I think I have a little teasers for that I'm going to just insert here now.
Okay, so the second piece has been secured to the first piece and the satin stitching is done. And so this half of the table runner is all done. So I'm going to remove it from the hoop, take it out, cut away the excess stabilizer, do all of that. Then I'm going to make the next two pieces, and I'm going to join them in the same manner as you saw me join piece B to piece A. And then essentially at that point, our table runner is done. So I'll be back to show you the finishing process.
So that takes me to the subscribers' creation of the week. I should start calling them creations instead of quilt of the week, because it's just not about quilts anymore. It can be any kind of creation. So if you've got something you would like me to feature on here, please send it to me. Whatever it is. It could be a quilt, it could be a garment, it could be a bag, it could be some knitting, it could be some crocheting, it could be art, paintings, whatever, that kind of thing. Well, this week, this is a creation by Armando Barron. We have seen his stained glass and quilts before, but here is another one of his really cool stained glass pieces. This week's quilt of the week is not a quilt, but is a stained glass window, and we've seen some of this person's work before. And this person's name is Armando Barron, and he says this about this piece that he has sent to us. Here's another piece of stained glass I made. This piece was commissioned by the same person who ordered the piano stained glass. The beveled stripped glass was a real challenge to cut and align. Decided to place the colored curves in front and back of stiletto and martini glass to give the piece depth. Finished piece was approximately 18 by 24. Well, I really love the ultra-modern look of this, but it also has a bit of art deco kind of feel to it as well. Very, very nice piece of glass. And thank you, Armando, for sharing this with us. We love looking at your work. And that takes me to the YouTube of the week. This is a segment that comes from Kreative Kiwi. Kreative Kiwi is a company in New Zealand that has a lot of embroidery patterns that you can buy and download for a reasonable price. And they also do a lot of in-the-hoop applique projects and have videos on YouTube, which are free to access. To help you out with any of their projects, although I have always found that their instructions are very, very clear. But the videos do help as well. So I thought I would feature that section of their YouTube channel.
Since I mentioned the fact that I did a tutorial on how to do an in the hoop project, I thought I would show you this video clip, or take you to this video clip on YouTube that's by Kreative Kiwi Embroidery. Now, Kreative Kiwi Embroidery is a spot in New Zealand that I buy a lot of my in the hoop designs from. I find that their instructions are very, very clear, and they're especially made clear by the videos that Kate puts up. I believe that's her name, that she puts up for many of the projects. This particular one I'm showing here is for a folded crazy patch bag. They're very clear, they're very step-by-step. They're the kind of thing that what I like to do is take these video clips, put them on my computer, and work along with the video tutorial as I'm working on the project. And of course I can pause it to catch up, and I can rewind it when I need something to be clarified. So this is an excellent source for those of you that are interested in attempting an in the hoop project. Usually their designs for Kreative Kiwi are very reasonable in price. You can download them right to your computer, and you get this free tutorial to go along with it. So check out Kreative Kiwi Embroidery's series of videos about doing in the hoop embroidery.
So what's on my vision board for some time in the future? Well, it's this Desert Star table runner, and I think I'm going to do that very, very soon. That's the one that I bought at the Appleseed Quilt Patch. Appleseed Quilt Works is the name of the store in Lindsay that I already mentioned to you. And I just thought I'd let you see it up a little bit more closely.
My vision board is actually a kit, and I just got this kit, and you saw it a few minutes ago when I showed you my road trip haul. This one is for a star table runner. They call it Desert Stars, and it's by Akinson Designs. Now, I have never had one of their patterns before. But this was a kit, as I said, and of course, because it has stars in it, it really appealed to me. Now, the colors of the fabric that came with this kit are not these colors, but I think the colors that it came with, I will be quite happy with. They're in shades of, there's some blue, some red, some gold, a dark green, and looks like sort of a dark burgundy brownish kind of color. Anyways, I'll get to work on this sometime soon. Now that I have the kit, and the kit wasn't that expensive. It was $36 for the kit, Canadian, but you can order this pattern just as it is online. And when you do that, or when you check this out, and I'll put the link for it in the show notes below, it shows you the measurements of what you need for all of this. And essentially it looks like you can handle this with a couple of fat quarters. So I'm looking forward to making this, and yeah, so Akinson Designs, check it out.
And in the Idiot Quilter Presents segment, I do have a interview. I just did this interview yesterday. It's with a fascinating person, Ann, now let me say her last name correctly, Tara Beanie. I think I said it right. Ann has been quilting for over 20 years and sewing, and she teaches quilting, and she has a great website and a great YouTube channel. So you should check those out, and the links for those are in the show notes below. But you will also find the link to the interview there as well. And here's just a little teaser of that. First of all, let's talk about, do you have any favorite experts or people that you follow on a regular basis, or you go to for inspiration or for ideas? I mean, you've been quilting a long time, so I can't imagine there are a lot of people who know much more than yourself about.
No, no, there's a lot of people. I've told you earlier, I'm not such a, even though I am on the computer, I'm not really tech savvy. And so people I follow, when you say follow, are people that I've taken classes from or I see from time to time. So this, I pulled this book out. Sally Collins, she's a great quilt teacher. I don't think she teaches much anymore, but she has lots of books. If you're interested in learning about drafting or how to draw up a quilt block, this is a great book.
And so that takes me to the online fabric store for this week to be reviewed, and it's called What the Hex? No, it is not a store for witch supplies. It is a store that specializes online in supplies for doing English paper piecing, especially hexagons, but there are so much more. So here's my review of that. This week's online quilt store is a little bit different from the other ones that I have reviewed in the past, because this one is called What the Hex? And as you can guess from the name in the front page, this one's all about doing English paper piecing, especially hexagons. And I don't know if you've tried this or not, but it is all the rage. And if you're a hand sewer, you'll probably very much enjoy this product. I have tried it with some success, but I've never made an entire quilt from hexes, and I was just basically trying it out and practicing my hand sewing skills, which are not very good. But this has all the things that you need if you want to get into this. So on their home page, they're showing right off the bat something that they have for sale. I think I've gone to their home page. Let me click. Yep. So this is their home page, and it says back in stock, Soul Line water-soluble glue stick refills, which from my knowledge of this is a product that people who are into doing hexagons very much enjoy. I think you can use this in place of doing stitch basting on your pieces. They have cut to order acrylic templates, so they don't just deal with hexagons by the looks of things. They have jewel, half hexagon, honeycomb as well. And further down, they have a newsletter. Now, I think this is strictly an online store. They do not have a brick and mortar store, which makes a lot of sense because this is a very specialized product. And I don't think anybody would just go into a store that is exclusively nothing but hexagons. I mean, these might be part of a larger quilt store, but it looks to me like this is just simply an online store. So let's take a closer look up here on their menu, and let's just go through the menu one step at a time. Butterfly effect. What is this? Well, it's something by Liliella Stitchery. The pattern finishes at 24-inch square as written, making a perfect mini quilt or pillow. But you continue to grow your piece to any size or use small sections of the pattern for other applications. All templates and paper pieces are cut to order and shipped within 5 to 7 days. So they're cut to order. That's interesting. They have pre-order paper set, complete butterfly effect. So you get all the papers, I guess, that you need for creating this very interesting design. And I really love the design. And there is a kit for it. But as I said, my ability to hand sew, I'm very challenged when it comes to that. But this looks really quite promising. Yeah, so there's, I'm a little confused. We can get thread for it. The acrylic template set for $69. Pre-order and there's a fabric kit. And there's a deluxe kit. And I wonder if that includes all the rest of this, because this gets pricey. If you want, well, you can get, I guess, okay, it looks like you can get the papers already printed out. Kind of a thing. I wonder if you can get this as a PDF. No, it doesn't look like it. So, according to full set of 19 shapes of paper pieces to complete in a 24-inch square mini quilt. Okay, so let's just go back here for a minute and take a look. So that's $29. Then if you want to cut your own, you can get the acrylic pieces. And this is what they look like. Okay. So if you want to cut your own, you could do that. Personally, I don't know why you'd want to cut your own. if you can get them already pre-printed. And then there's a fabric kit if you wanted to use the fabric they're using, and the thread kit. Where's the pattern? Does this include the pattern? Okay, template used in conjunction with pattern and paper pieces. There's the pattern right there. And the pattern's 1982. So basically you are paying for a lot of additional pieces, and it's an Etsy store where you can get that as well. So this must be how this shop is set up. It's an Etsy shop. Okay, let's go back again. So this could get very pricey. Now, unless the deluxe kit has everything. Let's see. All of tulip pink fabric. Oh, it's tulip pink fabric. Okay. All required paper pieces. Okay. Templates. And thread. You get it all. So for almost $200, you can get the whole kit. And it's a 24-inch cover quilt. So it's not that big. But it's all there in one package. Okay, let's look under acrylics. Sets and projects. So here we have Mylar heart set, diamond and trapezoid. So they have a modified Drunkard's Path template set. Okay, I'm interested in that because I just did a Drunkard's Path quilt. $42. And it's done with templates. Okay. Free downloadable pattern and the templates and that for $42. Okay. Well, let's look up their papers. Shapes. So here's all their shapes, and okay, diamonds, apple core, pretty much anything that you want, clamshell. Okay, so how many do you get? Oh, you can also get different sizes in these as well. A small package one. Okay, but medium, extra large package. So I don't know how many are in a package. It says available in sizes 2 to 4 inches. For additional sizes, please use our custom pages to contact us directly. So I guess they will design ones for whatever size you want. It doesn't really say though how many are in a package. I imagine it's more than one. Well, wait, these are, no, they're papers. So I don't know. That's maybe somewhere else on this website they tell you. Okay, so here they have custom. Okay, they will do custom projects for you. Notion, so they have equipment to go along and tools to go along with the whole process. So really, they are a one-stop shopping experience if you're into English paper piecing by the looks of things. Books and patterns, free patterns and downloads. So they do have a few patterns here, free, and they have gift cards. And contact. Okay, so if you're into English paper piecing, you're into hexies and more, then I think this spot might be okay. Their prices don't seem to be bad. I have nothing to judge on, however, because I have never really ordered a kit to do English paper piecing. I'm just wondering, though, what their shipping cost is. Do we have any information about that? Terms of service, privacy, store policies. I wonder if they have return shipping. Here we go. Orders are shipped within 5 regular business days. We can ship to virtually any address in the world, yet reserve the right to refuse orders that seem suspicious. Oh, okay. Sounds like they've had a little problem with this before. Shipping will be sent via Canada Post or UPS. Ooh, UPS, no. You may also select in-store pickup for visits to our brick and mortar location, and that's at the Heglig Fabrics in St. Mary's. Okay, so they're part of that store, and I have been to that store. Just as an aside, that store has a great selection of Cape Facet fabrics. They'll combine shipments too if you order fabric. So yeah, that might be, so this is sort of separate but not separate. We use Canada Post or UPS and consider the services to be reliable and cost effective. Okay. Information on Canada Post services, and so you wouldn't have to worry with UPS paying customs or duties unless you're ordering from outside of Canada. So they're not really saying here specifically how much it would cost to ship something. So let's fake buy something and see what the how much it might cost. Okay, let's go to the papers, shapes. I want to order these. Add to cart. Okay, there's my subtotal for one. Okay, it doesn't say anything about shipping. If I check out, and method, ship, calculate it at next step. So I guess I have to fill in my shipping information. I got to put in a code here. Okay, let me do this. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just checked out what the shipping would be, and it's fairly reasonable. For just those shapes, it was about $5, and then it went up from there depending on how much you ordered and how much you bought. So it's basically standard letter service from Canada Post. So shipping is just standard. It's not expensive, it's not inexpensive, it's just what it is. So anyways, if you're into English paper piecing, I would suggest you check out What the Hex. Now that brings me to the end of this episode. However, before I go, I want to talk about something that is coming up very soon. And this is called the International Stitch Marathon. It happens on July the 22nd, 2022. It is 12 hours of sewing or knitting or crocheting or textile art, whatever you would like to do. It is a retreat of sorts. It is all done by Zoom, and it will start at 9 a.m. Mountain Central Time, or Mountain Standard Time, I mean, and run until 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you're on the East Coast, that means it's starting at 11 a.m. And if you're on the absolute West Coast, then it's starting at 8 a.m. And the reason it is extended over 12 hours is so other people can come in at certain parts depending on their time zone. So it is being hosted by a variety of YouTube creators. The main organizer of this is Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore. Brenda, you may know, is a regular subscriber to my YouTube channel, as I am of hers. And she also has been participating in the Craft and Chat, so some of you that have been there have met her already. A lovely person. And she has done one of these before, and it was very successful, and so we're giving it another try, and she asked me to be one of the co-hosts. So I will be. But there are several of us that are co-hosts. Now, the details and the Zoom link and everything for this are all in the show notes of this video, and I will be putting that in every video show notes until July the 22nd. Also, what I'm going to be doing on So Chatty is I will be featuring one of the co-hosts each week, so you get to know who they are and what their YouTube channel is all about. So be sure to tune in to So Chatty. And I usually put those up every Friday. And our first person we're going to take a look at is Brenda. So, International Stitch Marathon, all are welcome. Details are in the show notes below. Hope to see you there on July the 22nd. And by the way, July the 22nd is a Friday. So, again, sorry about that for those of you that might have to work. Or maybe you want to take the day off. Just saying. Or do it while you're at work. I don't know. Well, anyways. So, that brings me to the end of the episode. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have some time for yourself to create something. And yeah, have a good one. Bye for now.